And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It would be Wednesday, 15th of July, 2026. We are at halftime of the semifinal of the World Cup. As I have the TV in front of me, England against Argentina. I believe it's 0-0 going into the second half. Just letting you know. And I must tell you, I'm into it. I'm enjoying watching, and I've never been a big soccer fan. I have always whined and complained about, there's no scoring and this and that, but I got to tell you, pretty good, but the refs suck. I don't like some of the rules. Some of the games were finished up with some bad calls and penalty kicks, but man, I'm enjoying it, I must tell you. Hey, this is serious talk on everything that affects you: the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, the Morlocks in D.C., debt and deficits, scams and shams. You name it, we'll cover it. We'll do it without any agenda, ulterior motive, or bias, as we left the Republican Party many years ago. I am a fiscal conservative. I am quite the logical socially. Notice the word logical. And both parties nauseate me. And they've proven me right throughout the years. And of course, we wish we could say otherwise. Do you know that this year's deficit under Donald Trump, the guy who said he would get rid of the deficits within weeks, it is bigger than all of the federal spending in the year 2000. The deficit. I believe it's also bigger than 2001. The deficit. Anyway, they nauseate me, all of them. They're doing us wrong. They think we work for them. They're supposed to work for us. They hide things. They're not transparent. It's one big giant slush fund, unfortunately. But I think we're going to take a pass on them for the rest of the day, unless something comes up as we are doing the show. And again, we will cover everything that needs to be covered, especially markets, which I got to tell you, how do I put this? The jello is moving on the plate, and maybe a big save today, maybe, on something else. We'll explain. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, you just go on X and put our name in. And just so you know, we don't do a lot of markets on there, though, but a lot of logic. If you'd like to email me, you just got to be nice and respectful, because we'll be nice and respectful back. Unless you are a terrorist or like terrorists or like Adolf Hitler or like Hamas and all that crap. Okay. I have to start with the semiconductors / artificial intelligence stocks. And I said a second ago, man, maybe a save. The semiconductor index was down 263 points today. Was down over 600. If you look at the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, by the way, we're not making this number up. My 50-day moving average is sitting at 12,373. They closed it at 12,398 after hitting down at 12,022. Maybe a save, but a warning shot. I just scanned 150 semiconductor names, as well as artificial intelligence names. And what do we mean by artificial intelligence? Well, the memory stocks, the data and data storage stocks, the construction for the data centers stocks, and all that crap. I can count on maybe two hands things that have left and are above the 50-day moving average. Everything else is below. Some things way below. And some things, while the semiconductors rallied, didn't really rally much. So just letting you know, we're going to call it a couple of things. Under pressure. Many of the names are what we say is disqualified under the 50-day. Some big time. But a decent amount of them finished halfway up in their range today, if not higher. Maybe that's defense. Listen up. But leadership is pretty much gone. And what we mean by leadership, you know what we mean, strength. In the group today, just some standing out, ASML reported earnings. And just so you know, it opened up today, if I got it right, at 1826. And within 5 minutes was at 1770 because the market was weak, dropped down to under 1740, but finished at 1817. That was up $42 on an earnings report, even though, and again, they missed earnings, but they guided higher. And I always wonder, so somebody missed earnings, so they were wrong on their guidance, but now let's believe them on their next guidance? Okay. Anyway, that finished pretty good. Nvidia finished up today. Pretty good. But others not so good. Micron down 80-something. SanDisk, which is not semi, but is the main AI, down 150, though was down like 260. The next couple of days are going to be important. That's the best way I can put it. The next couple of days are going to be important for that area. What else? SpaceX. Boy, did they do something today. Remember when we said to you that they're going to try and hold 150 because that's where it opened after the initial public offering. And for a few days, they were able to do it, and finally it cracked. Well, what's the next place? It was a $135 initial public offering. Guess where it closed today? $135.27. It hit a low of 132.15. So they were kind of, sort of, let's just say, watching. But leave no doubt, this initial public offering, we're not talking the company, is a rousing failure. Everyone in the aftermarket has lost money. The people who got the IPO, if they did not sell, are flat. Those that bought into the hype and tout in the first couple of days are down very big. And our little thought, two thoughts. A, we had no edge on what the stock was going to do because it's too new, no patterns. The only thing we did know was, geez, this valuation is a joke. And we mean it. This is not company. We're talking valuation. And as we repeated several dozen times, you're paying $2 trillion for a company with $18 billion in revenues, lost $5 billion, and has very big negative cash flow that also did a bond offering for $25 billion. Again, we hope you listened. And the space stocks that we warned you about also are just getting crushed. Absolutely crushed. The ETFs for space, absolutely crushed. The individual names, crushed. Hope you listened. Up next, rest of the market. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Okay. Let us continue. And I'm just going to go through area after area if you don't mind. The froth. Last September, we're repeating ourselves now, we had warned you that a bunch of no sales quantum computing stocks, rare earth stocks, nuclear stocks, drone stocks that had little or no sales, and if they had sales, they were losing a lot of money. And amazingly, they just ended up with valuations that were obscene. We highlighted for you, and we used it as a poster child, symbol OKLO. Now remember, we are not talking about here whether the company doesn't or does do great things going forward. We're just talking about valuations and sales. That's all we're doing. I want to make sure you know that in case somebody at the company is listening, you think we're putting you down as a company. We're not. We have seen companies with no sales become billion-dollar companies, and we hope that occurs. Anyway, OKLO, it was touted and shouted by pundits because in that September period, the stock just went insane to the upside with many others, tripled in weeks. And we just came out and warned you. Listen, we don't know if it's going to keep going up. Maybe it does. We're not telling you it's not. We're just letting you know they have no sales, and this is the valuation. So you're paying this amount of money for no sales right now, currently. This was last September. By the way, they still have no sales, and we're in July. It still has an $8 billion market cap. If you buy the stock today, you're paying $8 billion for the company that has no sales. The stock has gone from 194 down to 45 and change. So obviously, and we told you at the time, it was like had a $30 billion market cap, yet people put buy recommendations on it. The sleazy, slimy, scummy analyst community, not all, some of them put buy recommendations on it because it was moving. And that's just one. That's just one. So we're just letting you know they're still in their death drops. Remember Rigetti, RGTI? It went from 18 to 58 in September, October of last year. And what did we tell you? Somebody sent me a picture that their office was in a strip shopping center. And at that $58 price, it had a $20 billion market cap. And at the time, I think it was showing $1 million something in sales, but it had a $20 billion market cap. Well, it's down to a $5 billion market cap with hardly any sales, loses money. The stock has gone from 58 down to 15. And we're letting you know they're in what we call the death drop. The slow bleed, the slow death. Be careful. If any of them wake up, we'll be glad to come out. If OKLO comes out and says, I got $100 billion contract, terrific. We're all for it. But our job here, first and foremost, is when things are a little bit crazy, is to warn you. We did it with Rivian. Boy, that was a big one. What did it go from 180 down to 10, and we predicted it? We did it with things like Beyond Meat, and that was a little bit different. They had strong revenue and earnings, but we kind of did the little 1 + 1 = 2 logic about plants. How big of a market would that be? And we'll continue to do that going forward when things stick out, when there's sore thumbs, when there's SpaceX. And we freely admit to you, and it's not even admitting, it's telling you, we think they're going to have gigantic growth going forward. But currently, so that area, let us switch over. Dang, financial stocks are strong. The big banks are happy. The latest, Bank of New York Mellon reports earnings. The stock goes up another 5% today. It broke out at 129 in April. It's 162, and I know that's not a gargantuan move like some of the AI stuff, but for a big bank, that's pretty freaking good. On top of that, you had Goldman Sachs with the big move yesterday on their earnings. By the way, if you want to know weird, the stock was down 22 today after opening up and then finished up 12. That's $34 a switch from the low to the high today. That's 693 is 18 worse 24. It's like 220 Dow points, low to high. So we're just foreign banks. My new yearly high list consists of big banks, foreign banks, some big regional banks, and some small ones. Financials. And as you know, Canadian banks, they are the greatest bookies in the world. What a great business. You give them your money, they pay you 2, they lend you out 6. I'm just giving out numbers. Anyway, the financials. The banks, not all. And there's some financials that are weak, but you know what's been better? A lot of the private equity companies that have been absolutely blasted. Little better action. BlackRock reports earnings. Finishes up 6.6% today. $68. It's a high price name. Numbers look pretty decent. It's in the midst though. Certainly not ascending, but a nice gap to the upside. JP Morgan was down 8 early yesterday, finished up 8, up another $4 today. PNC reported up $2 today. The one that didn't do great was Citigroup. It was up today a little, but reversed badly yesterday. I didn't really see any news to drive that, but we believe in watching what the market tells us. So Citigroup's about it. What else? We'll go through sector by sector. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. You know, I really wanted to blast somebody in government today. I'll wait till tomorrow. There's a sore thumb in government that's really pissing me off. No, it's not Trump. Anyway, we'll wait till tomorrow. Just in case nobody wants to know, I'm not going to tell you any more scores. Maybe you're taping it for the World Cup. How's that? News in the Iran thing, nothing going on there today. And the one thing I did notice, Iran's kind of shut up. They haven't said a word. They're just letting us talk. but nothing happened. Oil prices finished up $1 today. Yields were down. Another good inflation number came out today, lower inflation. And of course, that is because of lower oil. We'll see if that stays that way. But not a lot going on there, except a little pinpricking of bombings and stuff like that. Moving along. I'm just going to read the numbers to you on this. Microsoft was up $10 today. Microsoft's been very weak since it double topped out in August and October of last year. It just retested a low that it did in March in the 350 area, and it's back up to 395, but it was up 10 and change today. Microsoft is a top 7 stock, and part of the MAG, what they call the MAG 7. It was up 10 today. Next, Meta, another that top 7, was up 20 today. Meta's had a nice little move off of the lows in the last few weeks on announcements, and one of their best announcements was they're going to spend less. And the announcement of spend has hurt a lot of these stocks, and it sounded like they're going to spend less, and they had all these AI announcements. Had a good day today. Coming up the right side of, I don't even know what you want to call it, Meta, as of 3 weeks ago, was trading where it did in March of 24. It's still trading where it did now. It's called January of 25. The high was 770. That's not so bad. It's 681 right now. Excuse me, the high was 791. Closed at 681. Still has plenty of work to do, but much better action. And by the way, their last earnings report was pretty damn good. So Meta was up 20. Oh, we're not done. Amazon, a top 7 name, up $7 today, broke above a little bit of a range. By the way, all these companies report in a couple of weeks. Still not at the highs, which were 279, but not far off, closed at 255. That had a good day. Google, we never call it Alphabet. Google was up $11.50 today. It's down a little in the aftermarket. $11.50. You know what it did today? It jumped back above the all-important 50-day moving average. Now starting to come up the right side. I almost bought it today, and then I realized they report in 5 trading days. Google. How many have I done so far? Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon. That's 4. Apple. Up $12.50 today. New highs. And I'd like to describe the pattern in Apple, but I really can't, just to say it new highs. That's 5. Well, what gives? That the MAG 7? I don't know. But that's where the money was flowing today. Simple as that. Financials, banks, as I mentioned, and the MAGs. Tesla was down. That's top 10. It's down a little. By the way, SpaceX, I think, is top 10. Yeah, SpaceX is top 10 of influence already. But it was only down 50 cents today. Nvidia is number 1. That was down $4 or $5 and finished up 50 cents in a weak semiconductor market. So a good day for the MAGs. And by the way, there is a symbol, MAGS, for the Magnificent 7, and that's sharply coming up right now. Sharply coming up. The MAG 7. Just letting you know. Not at highs yet, but certainly trying. So I wanted to report that to you. And why? It has influence. Very much influence over the S&P, over the Nasdaq, over the Nasdaq 100. And what would be the reason for this occurring? I think it's money flows. And sometimes you get waves of money movement into one specific area, and it just happened to be that today. Oh, and by the way, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are in the Dow 30. Oh, by the way, and Nvidia. Do you know what those stocks did today? Let's see, 1260, let's call it 20, 31, 42 points. They accounted for about 270 Dow points. So they're important there. Dow was up 150. They accounted for 270. What was weak? Caterpillar was down 19. That's artificial intelligence. But Caterpillar at one time today was down a juicy 43. Did finish below the 50-day moving average, so that could matter. You had other weakness today. United Health was down 7, Travelers down 7, insurance was very weak today. McDonald's down 4, and that is the weakest restaurant right now. IBM down 6, Johnson & Johnson down 7, and I must tell you that the pharmaceuticals were very strong. Not so sure here. As we mentioned, oil prices, they were down most of the day, and I think after the close, they ticked up. I got to check that out. And again, not seeing anything news-wise with Iran. Just who the hell knows where that ends up. Remember what I said the other day? We may just have a thing where just nothing else is going to happen. What? Yeah, it just goes quiet. That may happen. Anyway, oil prices finished around, well, let's see, which is which. One closed at 80, and that would be the light crude for September. And the Brent crude for September finished at 85 and change. I think it's the light crude that'll matter more. Anyway, it's been going higher. The good news today, though, yields were down. I want to see yields come down. In the glamour stuff, SanDisk down 150, Seagate 55, Western Digital 51, Micron 80. It's been a rough day, but off the lows. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Let's see, earnings-wise, tomorrow will be GE, State Street Bank, Truist. Why did they change the name from SunTrust? U.S. Bancorp and United Health in the Dow. After the close will be Netflix. And in the United Health Group today, Elevance, ELV, down a measly $36 today. Hey, up next. Yeah, we'll think of something. Thanks for being here. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. In the news. And I've been getting a lot of emails on it, and we're careful with these words, but ICE, there are a couple more people dead. It came down that no longer ICE is going to stop people in their cars or trucks. But the president has come out and said that the ICE should restart traffic stops. Anyway, Yesterday, we had mentioned that a South Korean company paid the president's company millions of dollars within trade investigations. It's now gaining strength in the media market right now. And as we have said to you, we just want honesty and no more of this crap. In the news, and by the way, some days there's a lot, some days there's a little. Just making sure you know that wildfire is going to be spreading around the Midwest and the East from Canada. Wildfires. Be careful about breathing if you or your family have asthma. We don't usually do this often, but this is actually big. It's actually a big thing. It's a big thing. All right. Back on the markets. Every major index is trading above the 50-day moving average, but range-bound now. But range-bound is not a bad thing after a move up. But we'll need to see certain areas taken out to the upside. The Nasdaq's have been in a range since early May, though some people would argue with that because it went to a new high in late May, and some people count the range from there. I don't, because it didn't keep that new high for a long time. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're in the 9th week. And by the way, again, there's nothing wrong with that. The same goes for the Nasdaq 100. The S&P, pretty much the same thing. And the S&P is kind of almost knocking at the door of the old high, less than 1%. And of course, a big help is the banks. Not a help right now is the semiconductors. But a nice little comeback today, as I said. The Russell 2000, if I can find it on my screen, there you go. Just been a little stair-stepping with a little pullback as of recent. The transports, I gotta slowly ascending. It's the best way I can put it. There's still plenty of bearish areas. You just avoid them. I can tell you hospitals, really bearish. Auto parts retail, really bearish. A lot of the retail bearish, but improving. I actually have 5 or 6 names I can look at in retail. Housing's been better, but nothing to write home about. But the big thing for me is the semis and the artificial intelligence, because the market's been losing their leadership. Fortunately, other areas have picked it up. I do want to mention China, which has been an absolute disaster, has had a good couple of weeks bouncing right now. No bull market there, but as we say, better. Countries, I will tell you that, South Korea is coming in because it is, again, the semiconductor thing. That SK Hynix, that was up 40 yesterday, down 20 today. So that was all over the map. And by the way, it hit a low today of, it was down 30 at one time today. I have no edge on that. Again, very much new. Have to let it trace out some sort of patterns. But I must tell you, just wild swinging going on in some of these names in some of these areas. But back on the banks and financials. This is relatively the strongest we have seen versus in quite a long time. And this includes some of the foreign banks also. What gives? Don't know. Reasons? Don't know. Except they're reporting good numbers. And Goldman, in their case, big trading numbers. Boy, they got game. And again, they're all bookies. And they all play both ends. Good on them. Good on them. Next week and the week after, bazillion earnings reports, including the MAGs. And that's why I'm a little irritated that they're moving right now, right before earnings, because it's very tough to commit unless you're trading what I'm investing, or at least I want to invest. So Dow up 150, S&P only 28, Nasdaq 162, but again, the Nasdaq 100 down 83. Why? AI and semis. Transports down 128. I told you what was good. Tomorrow's another day. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Always a pleasure having you. Good night.